Whether you're a C-suite executive or a solopreneur, here's why labeling yourself with imposter syndrome might be holding you back, or any other label for that matter. Here's the thing about labels. You need to be careful and intentional on the labels you choose because your brain believes whatever you repeatedly tell it. This is where we see self-fulfilling prophecies. Unfortunately, imposter syndrome, which isn't really a syndrome at all, it's really just a catch-all phrase that people have started to use. But whether you call it imposter syndrome, lack of confidence, or something else, it's a universal experience both in our personal and our professional life. It's part of the human condition. And even if we get success, it often doesn't cure it because the root issue is frequently a type of belief, which we're going to get to shortly. Whether you're just starting out in your career or your business, in a growth phase, a transition phase, an established leader, or dealing with some external feedback or criticism, something can trigger that belief, that thought pattern that questions your ability and makes you feel like you're not blank enough. You fill in the blank. Smart enough, skilled enough, good enough, creative enough. Put it in the comments below. What enough statement do you have that runs through your mind or that you frequently say to yourself? You see, all of us at some point in time have had something that happens to us in our lives that hurts us mentally and or physically. And we will put in place a thought or a story about it or create some meaning about that event. And when we repeat it over and over again, it becomes a belief. And we put it there, our brain does that to us to protect us so that we don't get hurt again. And then as time passes, it becomes an automation that we aren't consciously thinking about. Then when we try something new, or we want to expand or go after a goal or create a new habit, that belief, that automation, it holds us back because it's keeping us safe. It becomes what I call a conflicting belief, and the psychological term for it is cognitive dissonance. For example, if you say you want to earn more money, but you believe people with a lot of money are greedy, you may limit what you earn. If when you were a child, your parents talked about those kinds of people, the ones with a lot of money or living in a home so much nicer than yours, and it was a negative way, again, you're going to want to avoid making a lot of money because you don't want to become those kinds of people. You see how that belief in there is going to keep you holding you back? Here's another scenario. Perhaps in grade school, something happened that drew attention to you, maybe for a poor grade on a test or assignment, and the teacher said something or other students said something and it embarrassed you or it was belittling and you just wanted to shrink back. To protect yourself, you may have believed the lie that you're not smart enough. And then you don't try for bigger things. Or maybe you've worked really hard to excel and you have excelled at many things, but your mind is still believing, that third grade kid, that you're not smart enough. So even though you've been very successful, you're still struggling with imposter syndrome. In addition to finding information on the internet, I have found counseling and coaches to be helpful with changing these limiting beliefs, these automations that we've put in place. And if you're ready to invest in a coach, there's a link in the description that can help you with that. But let's get you started right now with something. First, I want you to give yourself grace for being human. All right? This is a human condition, right? It's not a character flaw in you. Second, let's get curious. When you have an attitude of curiosity, you're not going to be judging yourself, but you're going to be learning and observing. First, you need to realize what it is you're thinking and saying to yourself in your head, or maybe you're saying it out loud to others. What's that thing that you tell people all the time that you're also saying to yourself? Maybe not so kind. Maybe you're saying, I'm not sure I can handle this. I don't deserve success. Others are doing better than me. What if I can't do it again? I should be further along. Oh, I can relate to that one. Once you recognize what you're saying, explore, is this something that you inherited? A belief that you got from somebody else? Is this something you chose? Does it build you or others up? Is it helpful? Is it kind? If it's not, then we need to rewire that and create a new automation to replace that old one. Realizing that this may take some time. Some studies say that on average, it can take over 3 months to create that new automation. And there are variables. So again, the point here is that you need to give yourself grace and be patient. Next, we need to look for some evidence that proves that old automation is wrong. So look for things that you've accomplished. Perhaps it was an educational goal or a work accomplishment, or maybe you put on an event. These can be evidence that can prove that lie wrong. Another thing you could look at is, would you say it to a loved one? Perhaps if you're a parent and you have a 7-year-old, would you tell them you don't deserve to succeed? Oh my gosh, I hope not. And if you are, stop telling them that and stop telling yourself that. If you're watching this video, or others like it, I'm guessing that you're working to improve things and that you could easily say that you're doing better today than yesterday and tomorrow you're going to do even better. Once you've found evidence to counter that automation that's not true and that is holding you back, create a new automation based on truth. Here's a few examples. I handled the X before, I can handle this too. I'm just as deserving as the next person. I can adapt and learn. I know my stuff. When you catch yourself repeating that old automation, follow it by the word and I'm saying and here in capital letters, and then add your new automation after it, or remind yourself that it's not true and state what is true, or what you're aiming for, or what you want to do differently in the future. As you do this, you're programming your brain for this new automation, for this new truth. And if you need evidence, finding truths and coming up with new automations, there'll be a link in the chat where you can schedule an appointment. You'll also find a guide with some more uplifting language. And likely there are some videos showing about this time about language as well. And YouTube may be suggesting something that you'll find useful. If you found this useful, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, do all the things. And I look forward to serving you again in the future. Go ahead and put in the comments a way that you're needing help or an automation that you want to change.